talking about this real quick. First things first, my name is Kenneth Burt. My company is Black Series Edition LLC. And we're going to explain to a troll today about vegetable cooling PCs or mineral oil. There's several different types that they use basically for cooling PCs down. But again, I can't express this enough on how sad this is due to the fact that we live in an era of technology and the fact that getting information really isn't hard to get because we literally have it at our fingertips. Our cell phones are attached to major search engines. They give us vast amounts of information to educate ourselves. But the fact that people do have this technology in their hand and still do not know how to utilize it correctly, it just baffles me. But anyway, let's show you right here. So we're not going to play the message because the guy's in here cursing and ranting. Clearly, you can see there's some kind of mental issues, but yeah. So basically, he says, one more thing, and this is where he curses, people don't put their computers in vegetable oil. Really? Again, the intelligent level. I can't express enough. Exactly. You have a mini computer in your hand, vast amounts of information connected to Google and search engines. You have YouTube literally, and you do not know this. So we're just going to educate them real quick. All right, so this right here is my vegetable oil cool PC, right? That's mine right there. Mine right there. But let's go up here for a minute and let's see. There's a fellow right here. Oil cool PCs. This is about 15 years back when people were doing it. He was doing mineral oil. Yeah, let's see, here's another one. That's me right there again, doing mine. That's where I saw it on YouTube, and I was like, shoot, people are doing this? Right here, we got another person right here, also too, taking apart the power supply, cooling your PC with vegetable oil. So people don't do this. Well, this is a show on YouTube, very popular show, and they're in there dropping a PC and vegetable oil. So people don't do this. So these people don't exist. Apparently, I don't think these people exist. I think they may be imaginary fictional objects or whatever they are, because they're in there dropping their PC and vegetable oil. See, this is why I say at the end of the day that knowledge is gold. And when you don't use your brain, your noggin at the end of the day, you are considered to be among the stupid. Yeah, you're an idiot. People do this. People basically drop PCs and vegetable, mineral oil, you name it, they've done it. By just about every PC mod you could possibly think of, someone has figured out a way how to do something crazy with the PC, to do something way beyond of what the people who are making it do it themselves. What is the benefit of it? Keeps your machine nice and cool all the time. Nice and crisp, nice and cool. That's why I do them. I love them. Another fellow right here. It runs faster. It's more efficient. That's why. The problem is that fans really don't do the job when it comes to basically cooling down your system. They're just pushing the heat. That's all they're doing. You need something to literally take the heat away. And then by this person at the end of the day, I'm pretty sure he has his intake fans actually going inward, probably blowing heat into his system. Buddy, you don't know what you're talking about. You're an idiot. And I can call you an idiot on camera because I can literally come in and show you an entire page beyond that of people, even people with professional channels, big time hardcore YouTubers dropping PCs in vegetable oil. No one chooses to do that. Gee whiz, we don't crack books, do we? There we go. Guess what that setup is? That's mineral oil. Mineral oil. I've even seen baby oil. People use baby oil because they figure, hey, look, if they're going to be using vegetable oil, they use mineral oil with baby oil work. They've tried everything. I've seen everything from RetroPies dropped in there. I've done a webcam one time to see it would operate, which it did. See, the reason why that people don't listen to the idiots, because nothing would get done. You wouldn't have all the technology you have before you right now if we listen to those idiots, because again, they're the same people who sit there and say, oh, that can't be done, and you can't do this, and you can't do that. You wouldn't have any of the technology you have today if people had listened to them. The reason why you have what you have today is because People decided to go outside the box and experiment. That's why. That's why you have a cure for most of the diseases you have on this planet and vaccinations and all that stuff, because people went out and did the impossible. That's why. See? Vegetable oil cool PC. All these. So when you make a statement like that, of course I'm going to come on YouTube and put you on blast and embarrass you. Yeah, people have been doing it for years. For years. This guy just did an oil PC 2 years ago, and usually things date back to like 11, 17 years, stuff like that, because that's around the time when they were doing them. Around 17 years. I'm pretty sure you probably weren't on YouTube around that time, so you don't know anything about that. So when you sit there and try to question me and call me an idiot, how I don't know what I'm talking about, and no one else is doing that, this is where I come out and put you on blast and call you an idiot. Put educating a troll. Yeah, they've been doing this for years. They've been doing this before I was doing it. That's how I found out about it. So yeah, you can run a computer, and look how old it is. They're using IDE cables. You can run a computer under vegetable oil, no problem. You just can't put the hard drive. You can't put the optical drive. It won't work. And the other thing I learned out when I was doing vegetable oil cool PCs is that you have to remember the heat has no place to go. So that's why they put liquid cooling systems directly on the CPUs, because the CPUs are what causes the system to heat up. Unless you got a massive, insane graphic card in there, and that's going to trigger it too also. So those are the only two areas you really would have to cool. Yeah, they've been doing it for years. Nothing new. And the best cases to use for this, if you got the skill level, the UFO cases, those are the ones that use, because you can actually see all the way around. People are using fish tanks. Before fish tanks were plastic, they were glass, so you had to figure a way how to make some kind of bracket system on your motherboard to be able to hook it over the side of the fish tank. So it's like all kinds of stuff that you can do at the end of the day. Like I sat there and I talked about torture racks for PC cases, and somebody came and go, oh, there's no such thing as a torture rack. You can type it in. You literally have Google. This is the part that makes it funny, people. This is a computer. See this thing I'm holding in my hand? This is a computer. It has a vast amount of information. This ain't the brick phones, the one I used to have back in the day. You know, you just basically had this little red indicator that popped up looking like your pager. These things are computers. So for the person who sent that, usually I ignore those, but I had to put you on blast for this one. You today, sir, have been dubbed idiot of all idiots, because you have a phone with a computer in it, and this phone will allow you to go on YouTube and look up all the information that you need to find out about vegetable oil cool PCs, mineral oil, or even baby oil. Yeah, knowledge is a powerful thing. It's just sometimes it doesn't work for other people. Yeah, there's another one. Oh, this was a real nice one. I like how they did this one over here. He installed the entire PC to a wooden. First, he had it attached to a wooden frame. You don't have to take apart the power supply. I advise people don't do that. A good way to get yourself electrocuted. Oh, he's building his case by scratch. Okay, nice. But you don't have to take apart the power supply. But still, he's building the case from scratch. That's freaking sick. What outfit is this? And yes, and they later found out this knife is primarily designed for cutting roofing or flooring materials, and it is not suitable for a plastic at all because of different sharpening. You're explaining the tool he's using for cutting the plexiglass. Now, see, by this guy coming in and building his own case out of plexiglass, showing that basically his container can actually contain oil without leaking. This also helps other gamers out, or other people that are modding and building it may want to build their own reservoirs. Because sometimes you may want to build in a special shaped reservoir to fit inside your case, and maybe a gallon container may not fit correctly. So you'll have to buy a bigger case, which means a bigger case will cost you a lot more money. So watching these guys, and they do these kind of things at the end of the day, say, hey, look, that's a fantastic idea. I can build my own reservoir. So it all works out. One idea passes through, and it just helps other people out instead of idiots coming on YouTube saying, oh, you can't do that. It's impossible. It can't be done. Oh, by the way, for the person who sent it in real quick, we're just going to call you Senior Idiot from the door. Or just Idiot, where we're going to call you anyway. You know that light that you turn on? Guess what? Someone invented that too, so you can have lights in your living room. Jeez whiz, Louise. I love this stuff, man. I love people like this. Look at that. That's sick. Oh, I see why he took it apart. Now I got it. Okay. Very, very nice. And he's doing a custom built, like serious custom built. So I can see why his power supply had to be taken apart. He wants to show all the guts. Fantastic job. Look at that. Now you have to understand, for every one of these builders and people who design things and make things for your everyday life to make things easier, you're always going to have the naysayer. You're always going to have that person in there screaming and crying, whining and crying, because you know why? They can't do it themselves. And they can learn. Some can learn, but they refuse to educate themselves. They rather just sit back, be lazy, and basically just complain. Whoa. He's modifying the freaking power supply. You sicko, you. That is awesome. Designing his own Molexes. All right, this guy's a freaking Frankenstein at the end of the day. Look at that. That is freaking sick. I was wondering why he took apart the power supply. Now I see why. Oh, that is freaking crazy.
From the power supply, we can flash wires at ground, 3.3, 5 volts, and 12 volts. We also have additional wires for a voltage sensor.
That is insane.
Possible separately from the power supply to the 24 connector. And the last 4 additional wires are 5 volts standby, enable signal wire, power loop, and -12.
How old is this guy's video? 2 years ago. Wow, man, he's doing this at 2 years ago. Usually back then you were cutting and slicing and soldering everything because you just didn't have this stuff. You had to build everything. Complete modification. Wow, this is beyond modification. This guy's going into a whole nother universe with this thing. And I'm pretty sure he's got trolls on this channel crying and whining too over the time. They did it wrong. You didn't do it right. You did it wrong. You didn't do it right. They don't do it themselves at all, period. Some people, it's just easier for them to just sit back and cry. So people don't put their machines in vegetable oil, right? This guy literally rebuilt the entire PC. I mean, he really rebuilt the entire PC just to put this thing in vegetable oil. So he went through all this work to dunk this thing in vegetable oil, but people don't do that. I'm the only person to do that because I'm an idiot. Oh, and also too, for the other YouTuber was trying to figure out how we're doing the submersive screen behind me. That's not a laser projector. That's a Maxsonic. It's a generic projector. It's the only one that kind of works on our stuff, to tell you the truth. It really works on our technology. I wish they made them bigger. But anyway, that projector's LED projector, DLP projector. It's not laser. And we didn't sand down the surface to try to, I don't even know what the freak that is. Why would you sand down the surface? Oh my goodness. We get people that come into our channel to try to figure out how we do stuff, and they were like, you sand down the surface. Do you have any idea what happens if you sand down plexiglass? What happens to, oh, forget it. We're not going on that road. People watch me spray plexiglass hundreds and hundreds of times and have people still coming with stuff like that. No point in entertaining. Just look at it with a grain of salt and just move on. Insane build. I'm gonna get up here to basically where he's got it now, because this guy's gonna be on here building for a while. He's all out on this thing. I want to see what he's got to the final product. I'm gonna watch this thing later on. Oh my goodness, look at that. Listen up, troll. Watch this real quick. So he went through that to build that monster machine to do what with it? To dump vegetable oil into it. They're called immersive PCs. That's what they're called. Immersive cooling, immersive PC, vegetable cool PCs, mineral oil PCs. That's what they're called. So what guy will go in and build this insane, amazing monster, go through all that work to flush it and fill it and flood it with vegetable oil? But no one does this at all, period. Oh, no one does that at all, period. That's like the same dummies that sat there and called, no one lives in their garage. And people sitting there with freaking Aston Martin, Lamborghinis, all kinds of expensive vehicles, high-powered motorcycles. They live in their garage, a luxury garage with their car on display. You ever watch Field's Day Off? That car they had spinning on it when the pedestal was moving back and forth. He had it. He had his own garage, and literally, if you look at it, there's a living quarters in the garage, so he can be with his car. Some people are in love with their vehicles like that. They need to see their vehicles 24/7, and some people literally have luxury garages where they have their cars on display. They can watch them and look at them all day long. And if I got a bike at the end of the day, I don't think I want my bike outside. I'd rather have it inside if I could. Matter of fact, they were showing this on Facebook about people bringing their bikes inside their apartments. But you know, you'll get them idiots out there get there and go, oh, we don't put bikes inside their apartment. Yes, they do. They put their bikes inside their apartment. Yes, they do. There's another person right here. This is a big YouTube channel. That's 3 years ago. They're putting mineral oil, and they actually make a PC mineral oil that you can actually pour into your system. They're doing it. Let's see if there's anybody else in here. Oh, there's another person right there. That's about 16 years back, and they're doing it too. Oh, let me see right there. There's another person right here. Put his PC in vegetable oil too. So it doesn't look like I'm the only person that does that. So I guess if I'm considered to be an idiot, that means all these people are also too considered to be an idiot. No, we're not. You're just an idiot. And we're talking to the troll who sent me the message. Thought I'd just put you on blast real quick. Another beautiful job. Oh, look, he's got a little submarine guy in there. I'm going to do mine with a submarine. Now, I hope he didn't get his little mind all caught up in all the technology we were showing off yesterday and thought that the machine, what we're doing over here, is basically mineral oil. No, this is actual water. You see how long this thing's been sitting? You can see the individual bubbles forming all up. This is how long this thing's been sitting there. This is how we can test it to see if the submersible will have any problems. If it did have any problem, we would see flakes all in the water, which would show that the screen deteriorated. So it's been sitting there for a while. It'll be there for about a week or so for me basically go back to it back and forth. I'm planning to do some laser projecting through it, and then we're going to go in and we're going to spray another one and put down a 3-coat application so we can exactly mark exactly where when we put the multi-layer application information in, where you start from 1 to how far we can go up before the screen becomes unwatchable. But you would know this if you did testing. But since you don't do testing, whatever. No point in talking about him about it. He doesn't do testing at all, period. Let's move on. And yeah, you could run your LED lights, you could run your power supply, you can run everything. What I found fascinating when I was watching people doing this is the fact that how do you not get electrocuted? I mean, you have 1,000 thoughts running through your head, like, what the freak? Like, how is that possible? Like, nothing short. And now, no, it doesn't. I literally had a PC run for about 3 years with no problem. I did an Xbox 360, never had a red ring, never had any problems. But you have to remember, when when you're filling your tank up with water, you think the fan on your CPU is going to continue to run. It's not. Eventually, it's going to stop. And the only thing that's going to be running is basically the lights. I don't even care if you put a fan speed controller on it, it's going to stop running. So what's going to happen is your system's not going to burn out. It's just the heat itself is just going to be dispersing inside the vegetable oil. There's no place for it to go. It's just trapped in there, just moving around, and it's getting hotter and hotter and hotter. And eventually, you're going to start having problems with overheating issues because there's nowhere for the heat to go from the CPU. And this is why I started putting liquid cooling systems, because a liquid cooling system would basically draw the heat from the CPU, run it through the radiator system, cool everything down, and push it right back in. That's how you do it. And yes, you can run a liquid cooling system on the vegetable because I built several PCs and done it. But remember what the troll said, I'm supposed to be stupid. I don't know what I'm talking about at the end of the day when I come on camera. I'm just making it all up. Oh man, crack a book, man. Crack a book. Jeez. Probably the same person probably uses crypt notes how to open up a door. I had to come hard on him like this, man. Yeah, I've seen people use dry ice. All kinds of stuff you can think of, man. Look at that. That is freaking sick. That's a nice build right there. i7. I did an i7. i7 runs beautifully on the vegetable oil. Yeah, you can put all the stuff in there for fish tanks, but except for I wouldn't put any dinky pumps in there, like to make the bubbles. You're gonna need something really hardcore to push that oil. And you have to be, when you're doing vegetable oil, you want to make sure you get light. The reason why you want to go with light, number one, it's a much more thinner filter. On top of that, you can see your parts better. If you get something a little more heavier, you might not be able to make out what you have going on in there. Yep. Another one, gaming PC. And this is at GameCon. GameCon, yes, 2017, running a PC in mineral oil. So let me get this straight, as he said in his email, or a message to us, that nobody puts their PCs in vegetable oil. I'm a weirdo because I'm the only one that does this. But we have somebody here over here at Gamescom 2017 with a PC and vegetable oil? Oh, yeah, sure. We've got to crack a book. We got to crack a book. Got another one here. World's first, let me see. AI mineral oil. No. Wait, hold on for a minute. Now, you wouldn't be the first, buddy. I would be the first. Well, not technically I wouldn't be the first, but my video date's longer than yours. Actually, as a matter of fact, right here, you say you're the first. Look at your timestamp date. This is for running a cooling system under mineral oil. So if you look at your date here, this is 1 year ago, right? 1 year ago. This right here is a system set up for liquid cooling. So if you go back here, a little more. All right, and we go over to my builds, which would have been in the rented room. Let me see. There it is. Those are my cool PCs right there that are running basically liquid cooling systems, and that's 8 years ago. Guess I'll be reaching out to them today to show them a video. You're not the first. That would be, I can say it with me. Somebody probably did it before me, but I did a lot long. I did it much older than they did it. They just did it a year ago. Let me see. Yeah, that would be right here, right here. These are my babies. My babies right here, or both of them, are using liquid cooling systems to keep the CPU cool. So it'd be virtually impossible for you to claim and say you were the first to do it with liquid cooling when I did it 8 years ago. Those are my liquid cooling systems right here and here. As a matter of fact, this one over here has a dual fan setup. Because usually with liquid cooling, when you set them up, you have your fans underneath of it. This one has a fan on the top and a fan at the bottom with the radiator system sandwiched in between. It actually works much better. Cools the system 10 times faster. See right there? Right there. There's my cooling system right there. So how in the world would you be the first to do this at liquid cooling when we did it first at 8 years ago? I'll be reaching out to them today. Nah, buddy. Sorry. We did it first. Gee whiz, people. We just want to take titles left and right. This one right here, and then this one right here. Let me see. This piece is all glowed in the dark, too. But I'm the only weirdo. How do you say I'm the only weirdo who does this? Boy. We don't crack books, do we? Now, you see my liquid cooling system here? Notice the fan is at the bottom, but we also have a fan at the top. And we have the radiator sandwich in between. This cools the system down 10 times faster. Oh, wait, yes, we can do it here, because I forgot. I want to mod the top of this. I'm doing the same thing I do. I forgot we did it that way. The sandwich system actually works much, much cooler. You got two sets of fans. So yes, and this one had an i7 running. So we had air pushing through here and air pushing through. And yes, there's a port cut out through the bottom of this so the air can push right through. It's not just sitting on a flat surface where the air can't go anywhere. I literally had to explain that in the video because somebody literally thought that it was just laying on a flat surface, laying flat against something, and air had no place to go. No, it's actually pushing back into the case. But basically, at the end of the day, yeah, it doesn't cause any problems at all. There's not a lot of hot air pushing through there. But yeah. I just find it interesting how people just don't educate themselves and how they're so fast to say things out of their mouths when we have this intelligence, we have this technology right here in our hand that allows us to go to YouTube and just type it in: vegetable oil, mineral oil, baby oil, PCs, and you just find tons of people doing this. The reason why I started doing it, because I saw somebody else doing it. Someone did it 17 years ago, way before I did it. And I was like, oh, shoot, wait, you could do that? And I did it. Of course, I was scared to death when I did it because I was going to get electrocuted in the process. But no, you can literally stick your hand in there. Do you know how crazy that is to basically go on a limb to fill your PC with vegetable oil and then sit there and stick your hand in there and touch a power supply, knowing that that could be the last time you do that? Yeah, that's what I did. But that's what comes with basically figuring out new things. Sometimes you have to take that risk. Hey, there was a guy who went along and took a copper wire, stuck a key on it, and flew it up in the sky in the middle of a lightning storm to see exactly how to conduct electricity. And because of that, we can power all this stuff we have here. It takes inventors to take risk in order for you to have the beautiful things you have. If the world was filled with people like what I just got a few minutes ago on my account, does it upset me? No, it's funny, and it's kind of sad at the same time that people are sheltered like that. It's almost like he was living in one of those vaults from freaking Fallout. But even in there, pretty much they were well educated. But anyway, moving on. It takes people. Inventors take chances when they do stuff at the end of the day because, again, it piques the curiosity. You got to know, they got to find out. And some of them even end up dying in their own inventions. But at least at the end of the day, they have basically proved that it can be done. And because it can be done, is the reason why we live in the world we live now. Because people take chances and they want to do something different. But if the world was filled with naysayers, this would be a horrible and disgusting world to live in. Thank goodness that none of these inventors listened to any of these people at all, period. And I take that nonsense he said as a grain of salt, and I find it extremely funny, and that's why I felt the need to come out here and embarrass them. I hope you're in here watching. If you are, good morning. It's just don't understand. Do you know how to work your cell phone? Did you even look up the history of the phone itself? Like before we had these things. Did you ever look at the history? When Bell Atlantic was pretty much starting to branch out, you do know when they started branching out cell phone service, it was not intended for um, the residency. It was more for companies, and only certain select cities had that connection. And I remember watching this thing on Bell Atlantic, this documentary, where this woman comes in and she says she would love to have a phone in her home because she would like to call her son who's in the military. But you know the thing about it, the guy said one day we'll have that ability where everybody will have a phone in their home and they will be able to call people. That was a dream at one point, and now we're sitting here with these computers. All this technology we have today to educate us, and still you have people who just say the dumbest things you could possibly think of on the face of the planet. No one does that. Gee whiz Louise. Oh, let's go peek into this real quick. Luxury garages that people live in. Because you know, no one chooses to live in a garage. Who would do that? Who would live in a garage? Who would ever do that? Who would ever live in a garage? Apparently these people do it. These people sitting there with these expensive cars. Yeah, they do it. They live in their garages. Yep. Who would do this? Who in their right mind would live in a garage? Huh. You know, people have been doing that for years. You know why? Because it's an extra room. Because if you get the right zoning and proper paperwork, yeah, you can actually convert it into a living quarters. And people do it when they have kids that come home from college, or maybe separation in the family, and maybe you have a garage you can convert. People do it all the time. But, you know, you got people at the end of the day, they're not that smart. You're going to they need help. We need to help them. What else you got at the end of the day? Hey, by any chance, is milk real? Maybe we can help them out with that. Milk is actually real. Water is real. When you walk outside, that burning thing in the sky is not actually a light bulb. It's called the sun. At nighttime, that's not a night light. That's called the moon. When you go outside, that's air, oxygen. That's what it's called. To help you out. This is a water bottle. This is what it's called. It's a water bottle. It's a plastic container that holds H2O. That's what it is. I'm going to help them out here. All right? You know, keep it up. And I'm going to ship you over a freaking leapfrog and a speaking spell. And a farmer says moo. Because, man, I swear, people, at the end of the day, it's just hilarious that how in the world we have this technology. And I consider if we were way back then, we didn't have this technology and it was kind of hard to research this stuff. Heck, you just did what everybody did. You go to the library, you go to the index section, you pull out them little tiny cards that came in that huge filing case, and you wanted to go look it up. That's what usually most people did. If they wanted to research something, you went to the library to do it. Remember the index cards? You pull that sucker out, especially if you had to look for something with Z and X. It was way in the back. Yep, I remember that era because I lived it. But yeah, people do live in their garages. Yep. Jeez, look at that sucker, man. That sucker's huge. These are luxury garages. Let me see. And people live in water towers. Did you know that? Yeah, they convert water towers into, and do they at the end of the day, are they forced to live in these places? No, they choose to live in these places. Yeah, they do. Like people living in their cars. People choose to live in their cars. This is a guy actually on YouTube has something like 1 million followers. He's going to school to become an X-ray technician or something crazy at the end of the day. Yeah, he lives in his car and he shows people how to do it and how to save money and stuff like that. There are a couple out there on TikTok that's living out in the middle of the woods in a tent. They're saving up their money and they're showing people how they're living off the grid in their own way to be able to survive, to be able to go out and basically save up enough money to get an RV to be able to travel from A to B. And people do this. They choose to do this because this is what they want to do. Like the guy I watched who basically was a 5-star chef. Made a ton of money. And decided one day he was just tired of his everyday grind of getting up and seeing the same thing over and over and over again. And he feels life is passing him by. And he just wants to go out and just see the world. Some people have that pioneer in their blood. They just want to get out there and they want to travel and take on all the adventures and all that. That's what they want to do. they're not forced into it. He sat there and said on camera, I'm not broke. I'm not poor at the end of the day. I worked a good job. I have a degree in culinary arts. I just decided to get an Astro minivan, me and my cat, pack it up and just go see the world. And that's what he did. People like that at the end of the day are people that I respect, because these are people at the end of the day that are not afraid to basically go out of their comfort zone. They don't care what other people think, and they're actually living their lives. People who just, that person just contacted me, as I can see from there, is a person who's imprisonment within his own mind because he doubts everything. Within his world, I'm pretty sure it's a very tiny, small box he's in. And that's sad at the end of the day. I'm glad that people who, like Da Vinci and people who developed all these amazing inventions that we have today, weren't like him. Because they were, like I said, the world would be a horrible place. Now, if they were smart enough, you know how hard it is to convert a garage into a living area? It's extremely easy to do. Very easy to do. As a matter of fact, I did the installation in my unit. Very easy to do. To insulate an entire environment to basically make it livable. If you know anything about basically about butane heat and butane gas and all that, like propane heat and all that stuff like that, how to basically wire it and put it in correctly, I know that stuff at the end of the day because I learned it. My goodness, they know nothing at all, period. How to level a floor off. You know how to build a floor at the end of the day? How to level your floor off, how to run wiring, electricity, and all that stuff. Do you know how to do all that stuff and drywall? I know how to do that stuff at the end of the day. So again, I can pretty much walk into any environment and make it livable. Can you do that? Do you have any form of survival skills such like so? You don't. Sheesh. I can tell you don't. Anytime when you make a statement, people say, oh, you're prejudging. No, it's not hard to prejudge someone that, because keep in mind that this is a computer you have in your hand. You can go in and get all that information off of this. All you have to do is type in it, and it'll give you tons of information on anything you put into it. You can even research and fact check what you've already fact checked right through this machine right here. So the fact that he has this in his hand to contact my company, make a stupid statement like so, shows at the end of the day he's not very smart. Small-minded. And if you think that way and you have this in your hand and you don't know how to utilize your phone correctly to get information, I don't even know how you're even surviving on this planet. The sad thing today is most people today can't even read a map. System goes down. What are you going to be able to do? Some people can't even read a compass. Yeah, good luck for you. And you can't go to your cell phone. That's not going to help you. That's why you don't get too comfortable with technology. But again, you should know things. People take these little sheds you get from Home Depot and Lowe's, and they convert those into luxury homes. And then Home Depot found out about it, like, oh shoot, why are these sheds like disappearing like crazy? Like people are buying these things up so fast. And Home Depot sat there and said, you know what? This ain't a bad idea. I mean, we already got the equipment in here to upgrade one of these things. Let's start a package where basically you can buy a shed, and if you want, we can have somebody come and install this for you, or we could basically put a package deal together, like for your plumbing. They got all the stuff there to do it. That's where you're going to go anyway to buy it, to actually rebuild that thing. Yep, they sell packages. You can go buy a home on Amazon. Imagine that. You could buy a house on Amazon. One of these portable houses. You can buy blueprints. You can go to a place and buy blueprints to build them. If you got that handy skill, at the end of the day, we can build what you want. No, I'm putting helicopters up there. Jeez. I wonder what he had to go through to get a zoning to put a helicopter pad. Can you imagine coming in for that one right there? Like, okay, look, so I want to put a helicopter launch pad on the top of my house. That's the ultimate zombie setup right there. Helicopter pad on the top of your house. Is that insane or what? Wow, look at that. That's a garage. Can you believe that? That's absolutely insane. And then you got that master door that comes up. That's a huge massive bay window that pops up. Then the day, and you have to worry about bugs and mosquitoes. You can put netting systems and all that stuff up there. I've seen a few people in the neighborhood have converted their garages into another area. One guy had it as his man cave because, again, some people that are married, you can't use your house the way you want to because the woman owns most of that house. That's her house at the end of the day, not yours. You don't. The bathroom, her decorations. Living room, her decorations. Kitchen, her decorations. Her bedroom, her decorations. Yeah, what do you have? Basement, that's a laundry room at the end of the day, and probably a playroom for the kids. So what do you have? You got the garage. Because you sure enough ain't running no power tools in there. Any place else you're going to run power tools in your garage. That's where you're going to run it at. Can't run any place. Look, someone made that one out of an igloo. Oh, that is freaking hilarious. That's awesome. So yeah, when you really think about it, yeah. That sure place looks like a GameStop, and oh my goodness, that is beautiful. And look up there, he got his freaking house up there, and he got his cars down there, and the kitchen in the back. That is freaking sick. See, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, people choose to live in their garages. They do. That's what they do. What about school bus? You think people choose to live in a school bus? People live in school buses. Who in their right mind would live in a school bus? That sounds absolutely insane. Who would do that? Why would people choose to live in a school bus? Why would they have their families in a school bus? Who would live in a school bus? Who would do that? That sounds absolutely insane. These are the people I love to be around. The people that basically think outside the box. Why'd you live inside of a school bus? Because I can. That's why. Simple and plain. You gotta support that at the end of the day. That's freaking amazing. And if you don't like your neighbors, you can just leave. That's what I love about it. Let's see. What about a water tower? People living in water towers. So do people live in water towers? Yes, they do. They convert these suckers into water towers. I wouldn't be hitting those stairs at the end of the day. That is just not going to happen at the end of the day. But yeah, people actually convert these. If I did a water tower setup, I would have it painted like the Animaniacs. I literally would have it painted that way. With the WB symbol on it and the lights on it. Oh, let me see that. Water tower homes. Bum 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 bum. Pretty sure it's extremely expensive. It's got to be extremely expensive to do one of these things. Bum bum bum. Matter of fact, there's one up in Orange County. Someone did one over there. That's what the inside of his crib looks like. That's beautiful, ain't it? Turn the water tower into a luxury home. It's in Orange County. Bum 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 bum. Can you imagine that's your view at the end of the day? You know how sick that is? That is crazy. Look at the view of the ocean he has on. That's crazy. Forget that freaking beach property. Look at this one right here. Tell me that's beautiful right here. Tree houses. Do people live in tree houses? Yes, they live in tree houses too. There's a thing called luxury tree houses, and people actually have built tree houses. You know, gas, electricity. Now you have to worry about that. You can have basically solar powered, and basically you can use water filtration systems and all that stuff. Oh, by the way, guess how much he sold this sucker for? $4.5 million. That's what that thing went for, and it's in California, by the way. For the naysayer. Oh, yeah, people choose that. So, with that being said, getting back to our vegetable oil and all the other things that the naysayers cry about on my channel and say, oh, people don't do this and people don't do that. I hope you're in the room because I'm educating you. We don't do this and don't do that. And that can't be done. Yeah, people do it. Yes, they do. That's one thing I love about people at the end of the day. I love people that are willing to build, design, and make things at the end of the day, regardless of what the naysayers say. Because if it wasn't for them, you wouldn't have what you have. It's interesting when you look at all the stuff that you have before you. It's just small stuff. Just small stuff. Just stuff like this and this. Things that make things easier. There is always somebody behind any one of these designs saying it couldn't be done. Yep. who would make a fire stick at the end of the day? I mean, you got cable, you got dish, you got all these stuff. Like, who would want something like that? Comes in pretty handy for me. I'm glad they made it. Pretty sure there was always some naysayer behind it, like the evolution of flight. Every time you get on a plane, remember the Wright brothers made it possible for you to go whoop, 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 fly all over the place. Because I don't think you want to do it with a hot air balloon. But yeah, I'm pretty sure. I couldn't imagine. I literally could not imagine the flack these guys got at the end of the day. Because mine, there was no such thing as flight. It didn't exist at all. Can you imagine the ridicule they must have gotten in the town by saying there were two guys in a farm somewhere up in a barn building an airplane to fly? Can you imagine the heat they got? Who the freak wants to fly? If God wanted us to fly, he would have gave us wings. I couldn't imagine what they went through. It must have been pretty bad to have everyone think you're crazy at the end of the day because you want to do something different. Because you think that it's possible for man to fly, to reach the unknown. Yeah. Like wanting to go into, I don't believe we went to the moon, but I do believe that we are actually up in outer space. I do believe we have a space station up there. I'm pretty sure when they came with the idea that, hey, we want to build a space station over the Earth. I'm like, really? Like, why? Why would you even want to be up there? What's the purpose of it all? There's no reason for you to be up there. Pretty sure there's a whole lot of people naysayed about that. So yeah, the reason why you have the ability to get into a plane and go visit your family and friends and all the different things you wanted to do, you know what I mean? It's because somebody came up with all those beautiful ideas so you could do that. And I'm pretty sure these guys, which are the Wright brothers, went through a lot because, again, there was no such thing as flying. It didn't exist at all, period. You know, today, if you want to make a new flying machine, it's really not that hard, depending on how crazy it's going to be along the line. But it's more easier to pass because we do have machines that fly. But imagine being in an era where machines don't fly at all. It's unheard of. You know how hard it is to be able to convince people that you could do this at the end of the day? That's why I said inventors back then had it far harder than inventors today. A lot harder. Because again, these things didn't exist. Lights in your home? A light bulb that comes on and generates light, electricity you can pull from the sky and transfer into your house? Oh, that's insane. That's not going to happen. That's crazy. That's madness. I'm pretty sure. They probably thought it was madness. Now every time you turn your lights on, someone made that sacrifice for you to have it. So at the end of the day, naysayers, I got a message for you. Crack a freaking book for once in your life. Learn something new before messaging people and basically talking a bunch of nonsense. You sound like an idiot. You really do. And yes, you are weirdos. Because again, to sit there and tell me that I'm the only person that does vegetable oil or mineral oil or baby oil cool peas, PCs, yeah. This guy over there at GameCon is basically showing off a vegetable oil, mineral oil PCs. Everybody does it. And it would have been so easy for him to save the embarrassment by just going into his phone and just typing it in. Are we that lazy now? Have we gotten that lazy? It's just better to just hurl insults and to just basically just educate ourselves. If you had educated yourself, this video would have never existed and you would have learned something new. Aha! Now you had to learn something new the hard way. All right. I'm not going to play his voice message because he's just in there cursing, ranting about some stuff at the end of the day. Oh, man, I swear. It's funny. But I got to go, people. I got technology to work on. Got to go. Thank you all. God bless.